This is the Team Objection podcast for Friday, January 31st, 2020, episode 424. I know what you're thinking. Friday? There's never been a day the podcast has come out. It's almost always been Thursday for all 424 episodes. But what did we promise at the end of the last podcast that just came out yesterday? What did we say?
Rage.
It's not so much a Suns cast as a Rage cast.
Yes.
It's a Rage cast. We said that's what it was.
Now, I'm going to warn you up front. We still have a clean rating on this show. I don't know why. We've been casually dropping a couple swear words in episodes for the last 40 or 50 or so. If you're offended by language, you better get the fuck out of here right now, because that's one. That's one of many.
One of many, because this is a fucking bullshit day of just garbage.
You know, this whole day, from the morning, just the whole way through, was not good. But you know who probably had a worse day? Devin Booker, for being snubbed yet again from the goddamn All-Star game.
I mean, the amount of tweets, the amount of just reaction around the league of people saying, like, what? How did he not make it? How's this not happen? It's kind of amazing. It's
so little attention, effort is paid into these votes. I almost don't care because it means nothing in a way. Clearly no one's looking at any sort of advanced statistics. They're really just being... I said this last week. Oh, Chris Paul? Yeah, I remember him. He used to be really good. Definitely all-star. I'm voting him. Sir, do you want to look at the advanced stats? No, please. Chris Paul. I know Chris Paul. Oh, Russell Westbrook. God. Yeah, I mean, Russell Westbrook, he won the MVP. He's definitely in the all-star game. Sir, I have some very troubling advanced metrics that you... No, it's fine. True shooting percentage, points averaged, assists. I don't care about the numbers.
You don't need advanced metrics to build the case against Russell Westbrook. That's the best part.
Yeah.
Just point to his 23% three-point shooting, his 4.6 turnovers a game. Seems pretty straightforward to me.
Yeah, and the fact that he's just not the same... I mean, I don't know. Westbrook is the one that gets in my craw the most because I've always despised his game. He's an amazing athlete, and I have despised the way he plays for years.
Chris Paul is mine. With those numbers, I cannot believe. Booker has more points, just about more. Like, he has more everything. Chris Paul is supposed to be a point guard, and Booker is matching him on assists. So what is he doing?
He's winning, Sean.
To me, MVP... your team's record matters.
Mm-hmm.
For the All-Star game, that shouldn't matter. And I know it always does. That's why you'll get teams where, like, 4 of the Warriors in the All-Star game, even though you could actually argue they deserved it. But, like, the point is, success will play into that. But the All-Star game is supposed to be, if you're a good player on a bad team, you can still get recognition.
Yeah.
And, like, what, if I'm Booker, it's like, what do I have to do? I would just, like, say, fuck it.
Because the counter argument is basically, well, Russell Westbrook's really been coming on in January as James Harden has struggled. And it's like, okay, he's really only doing that because teams are hard doubling James Harden at half court every possession of every game now because it's had some success. So, yeah, he has 4-on-3 situations. And who would you want better than, like, Russell Westbrook going downhill on a 4-on-3?
Oh, yeah.
It's a perfect position for him. So that's part of it. That's not to take away from him, but still, that's part of it. And you know what the second part is? You know who else had a really good January? Fucking Devin Booker.
So I looked this up. I was just going to Reddit comments, and someone said, like, over the last 15 games, Russell Westbrook's at 31 points per game on 58% true shooting percentage. You know, getting a little nerdy with the stats. But then, Booker's also averaging 31 points per game over his last 50 games on 65% true shooting percentage.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
Like, what do you want?
The fact that the Suns are even borderline relevant right now, Booker is responsible for a lot of that. I mean, Rubio for stabilizing a bit, but, like...
Oubre is playing well. I mean, yeah.
If you took Booker off this team, I mean, we've seen it.
Yeah, it's a team that's like last year's team, essentially. Like, look at the team where we were when Booker missed time over the last few years. We had, a 1-in-25 stretch or something like that 2 years ago?
Yeah.
When Booker missed the majority of the rest of the season for rest and basically for tanking purposes. Booker is so important to this team, and people say that we need to make sure we need to show that he's wins and he's building value to his team. It's like, he's the only one of value for the past 4 years.
And, Dave, you mentioned Brandon Ingram. Yeah, I mean, that hurts, but it's not like Brandon Ingram took away from Booker. It's a different
It's a different position.
Yeah.
But the ones that some of the arguments that bother me, and it all comes down to the wins argument, the ones that bother me. I've seen people saying things along the lines of like, well, if Booker's teams had, 8 or 9 more wins and were in the playoff hunt, he'd probably be selected. I'm like, so that Ayton missed 25 games, and very likely we would have probably won, 7 or 8 more games if Ayton was playing those 25 games. Yeah, well, I guess he should have won those games. It's like, but it's not his fault.
Yeah.
Like, Booker did everything he could to be an amazing player despite not having help. And
honestly, 7 or 8 of those games, I think that's even lowballing it. I think we had a good chance for at least 500 in that stretch. But regardless, it's unbelievable.
I was looking up a traditional metric because I thought, we know the advanced stats favor Booker over almost anybody that was a fringe case.
Which was the argument against him for so long that it was inefficient.
Yeah.
Sure. Then that window that argument's gone out the window. So I looked at wins. And guess what? The Rockets are 6-7 in January, despite Westbrook's decent to good play, and the Suns are 7-7. Now I'm not arguing that 7-7 is world beaters, but it's better than the Rockets. So any Westbrook case is still coming up short to the Suns.
Well, and this is why. So I don't know how you do it. I guess it has to be voting, but it in any situation is flawed because it's like the Oscars, right? You're not truly getting the 5 to 10 best films. You're getting the 5 to 10 best promoted films. Yeah, it helps if they're good, but like it's people make a case. Cats they were trying to make a case for Cats until they're like, okay, clearly this is so bad we can't even do it. But like that's what we're dealing with. So it's like, I guess the coaches have to vote, but the fans voted too. Fans should no longer be a part of this thing. In any way. It's never been good.
No. I mean, years in the past, remember the early 2000s, Yao Ming was basically retired and was still leading everyone in All-Star votes thanks to China's vote on it. It's like, but he doesn't play, guys.
Yeah, and Zaza Pachulia made that push a couple of years ago because when you were voting for All-Stars, if you wanted to put the other 4 Warriors on there, it was easy enough to just pick him as the 5th. And when you go to these voting pages now, if you click on one of the team's links, they slot in all the starters for that team automatically because I did that for the Suns. I voted a few times. And it was, you want to vote for Booker? Well, here's Rubio and Aaron Baines if you think he should be an all-star because you're an idiot. Yeah. And here's Dario Saric because he's played okay in like 4 games. And it's like, this is how the voting gets skewed because people who don't care just toss on whatever. And that's how Alex Caruso happens. Alex Caruso is Cats in this analogy.
Yeah, I would almost rather have the fan vote if we really want to do it. I'm fine with taking it away completely. Do we really have fans who are like, you know what? I was going to quit the NBA, but I really appreciate the fan vote for the All-Star game. A thing that fans don't watch to begin with. I would rather have the fans maybe say like fan vote is responsible for who gets in after like there's an injury or something or like the very fringe, not for the right now. It's backwards. You get people who are sort of qualified at the very, very end.
Yeah. And I like baseball's system with the last man in because each of the NL and AL rosters gets a chance to have like 5 different candidates who didn't make the team, and then people vote among their favorite of those 5. So it's the last person in. So if somebody gets snubbed in the last man vote, you're like, okay, but it was the 12th spot, or in baseball's case, the 25th. So that's fine. Here, when you're voting for the 5 starters and Trae Young gets in as a starter, who is Devin Booker light.
Yeah.
But wins, Chris. Don't wins matter?
Now, I know the East is not the West, and the people are like, the East is catching up this year. They're not, and you look at these 2 rosters, and you can see that clear as fucking day.
Yep.
When like Jimmy Butler was the other compelling case to start in the East, Bradley Beal, who's won barely any more than Trae Young, I don't know. But the point is, that shouldn't have ever happened. Trae Young shouldn't be an all-star. Brandon Ingram probably shouldn't be an all-star because the Pelicans are terrible. Yes, Zion. I don't care about that. Again, no hate on Ingram because it's a different position, but it's baffling. It truly is.
I think
if you're going to give a pass for Zion on the Pelicans, like can't you give a pass for Ayton on the Suns? Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing.
People are dumb. I mean, like, and I don't know what I expect. No, I'll tell you what I expect. I expect the people who are voting, like the coaches, to know a little bit about what's going on and not just going off like name recognition. And like, we're not getting that. We're even NBA.com, which like, who are they? But they were like, Booker was a super long shot anyways with the way he's been playing. It's like, no. I mean, he's a long shot because people are dumb, but like he has the numbers to get in.
I don't know how coaches, especially coaches, can't get him in here and vote him in here because look at like what coaches have to do. They have to game plan for their people they have to stop. When they're looking around the league at like, oh shit, we got to stop this guy. I don't know what we're going to do to stop this guy. Where's Booker rank on that list? I'd say pretty fucking high, right?
Yeah.
Like,
You'd
game
think
to
so.
game.
I mean,
think
but
game to
like
game.
Luke Walton's a coach in the league, though, and like, what does he know? I don't hate him actually. He was just the first one I thought of, but we have a lot of bad, stupid coaches who should not be coaching,
and a handful of really good ones. But maybe they had grudges. Who did Greg Popovich vote for? I want to know.
It would be nice if these things were public, like completely public.
I mean, what's stopping a coach from voting for just his players?
You're not allowed to. Monty Williams talked about how he couldn't vote for Booker.
That would stop it.
Yeah, that's at least one thing we know. There's no nepotism because you actually can't vote for your own players, but that doesn't necessarily make it better because now you're only voting on players you don't know as well.
Yeah.
It's just, I hate the popularity contest aspect. We kind of said at the very beginning with Westbrook and Paul. It's just like legacy votes, really, at this point.
Yeah, we really need to give Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul especially, who's been declining for years. I mean, how many All-Star games has he been to now? Like 50? Like, yeah, that's really going to mean something. Whereas Booker is going to go down and fucking, mark my words, as like one of the best players to miss like this many All-Star games.
I mean, I've seen people make comparisons to like Dame Lillard missed, I think, the first 5 or 6 years of his career. Steph Curry missed the first 4 years of his career and didn't go. But it's like, okay, Curry had a lot of injuries the first few years and didn't become Steph Curry until, a few years after that. Lillard was on, a team that didn't do as well, but I don't know, it just doesn't feel the same. It feels like there is like this active anti-Booker sentiment out there because the Suns were so bad for so long.
The thing is, I really do feel this, even though, Booker, I actually can't even mitigate this statement at all. If you put Booker on a contender, boy, they would be a favorite to win the whole thing.
Yeah, if you put Booker on the Jazz, he's in talks of All NBA at this point.
This is
the exact same stats.
Yeah, because I mean, he's slightly better than Mitchell overall.
Who is in the All-Star game, by the way.
Who I don't think many people consider to be somebody who should have been off, and I think I agree with that overall. But at the end of the day, it's because the Jazz have won and the Suns haven't. Because they're fairly similar players. Mitchell's maybe a little better about getting to the rim. Booker's a better shooter. But beyond that, I mean, it's just, Donovan Mitchell's tasted the playoffs. It's like, yeah, because he played with fucking NBA players and not the scrubs that were on the underside of the NBA's shoe.
Yeah.
I mean, can you make an argument that that's more impressive as a talented player for Booker? The fact that he's had to carry garbage teams for 4 years and the fact that he's 23 fucking years old?
I do, especially this year. Yeah. Like, he is clearly the best player on the team. Defenses, their game plan, I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, X's and O's, and when they come to the Suns, it's just like guard Booker, double team Booker, whatever.
Well, and especially the most impressive thing for Booker this year for me is the fact that he's got a team around him. And instead of being the ball chucker that everyone always, I've heard many people say that he is, he's improved his shooting percentage, improved his assists, improved his rebounding, and scoring at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, he's done everything better.
Yep. Yeah,
I mean, what more you want?
So I heard somebody say, every year there's like 1 or 2 players who can't make it because of injuries or whatever, and like maybe he'll get a shot then. I'm fucking petty, okay? And like, this about me, and it's true. If I'm Devin Booker, I'm like, you know what? I'm good. Like, if you can't make it in legit and you have to be like pandered to or like have this like fucking sympathy. Like, no, I'm fine. I'm going to get in when you all pull your heads out of your ass and it's legit, or like, I'm good.
Yeah, it almost feels tainted pretty much,
Yeah. Oh, he got in because of like, the fucking commissioner showed pity on us. Oh, how great. And I hesitate to say that because it would be nice just to finally start accruing the All-Star games. But I'm just like, no, I'm good.
I mean, I don't know. He's 23. He's got 15 years left in his career still,
So if Chris Paul has an unexpected hamstring pull and Devin Booker's the next person in, are you happy about that or angry?
Ultimately, I'll be happy, but up front, I'll be like, well, great, thanks, guys.
Ultimately, because I'm not Devin Booker, which is like the stupidest thing I've ever said, because the gulf is so huge. I think I'm still happy for that reason of like he is accruing, but it does make me mad still. It's like, okay, cool, he's in, but it wasn't like, it feels less earned, but that's not on him. That's on all the voters.
Exactly.
So like, Chris Paul is injured, so he bailed out everyone's stupidity, basically. And that doesn't feel good. I have a problem with that, but ultimately I'm happy for Booker.
Doncic may be the other one. He just twisted his ankle and might be out for a little while, so there's a possibility that we'll have another slot open there. But
he did miss, a couple of weeks last time he tweaked his ankle.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, when you look at these rosters, by the way, no problem with the starters, right? Especially in the West. Like, those five are pretty solid.
Outside Trae Young in the East, it's just like, come on. But I mean, he's been good, but same argument for Booker. But anyway, in the West, sure. I mean, Harden, Davis, LeBron, Doncic, and Kawhi. Yeah, I mean, whatever.
I think those five are fine. Fans did great. I don't have any arguments for anybody to even start over them, let alone make the team over them.
I mean, the only thing maybe with Kawhi is that load management that he always does, but that's a known quantity. So
it's okay.
Could be, but again, I look at the people behind him, and I'm like, I don't think anybody else is deserving to be ahead of him. Then you look at these reserves. I don't have a problem with Jokic.
Nope.
I don't have a problem with Rudy Gobert. I think it's overdue.
No, it's a nice one.
It's nice to see defense get recognized. I'm interested to see what that looks like with him in the All-Star game because I have no idea. Damian Lillard, I have no problem with. I don't know if he was a lock, but to me, he's basically doing what Booker's doing, but slightly better.
He shorted up, especially this past week.
Yeah, he's averaging like 55 a game the last 4 games, so he probably earned his last spot if there was any doubt.
I mean, Booker's doing like 38, but whatever.
Fine. Donovan Mitchell, I think it's 50-50, but I don't think he was borderline.
What did you have Mitchell's stats in front of you this year?
25, 4, and 4.
So, again, he's on a better team, better record, worse stat. I mean, he's doing less. So I wonder, do you have his true shooting? It has to be worse. It has to be. He's not as good a shooter.
Let's go to his page. Yes, it will. Then he is shooting 56, 37, 86. Not terrible.
No, not batting. I mean, not bad at all.
I don't know what that is for true shooting total, but...
true shooting is 53.9. No, that was earlier this year. Never mind.
So that can't be right.
No. That was over his career.
I don't think I don't think it's above 60, but it shouldn't be that low.
No. I'll have to get to it. But
I think it says something that I've never been that upset that Devin Booker hasn't. Like, it's always been, oh, it's too bad. I wish he could. But, like, it's made sense. This doesn't make sense to me.
Mm-mm.
Like, my sensibilities as a fan, I'm like, how did Steve Nash ever get the second MVP? Like, I'm not arguing if he deserved it or not. I think he did. But how did it happen? It's just, it's unbelievable to me.
Donovan Mitchell's true shooting percentage in 46 games played this year is 56.6%.
Okay, that I would buy.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's 6% lower than Booker.
So, in every way, less than Booker, but he's an all-star.
Yeah, because he wins.
Well,
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I'm pointing out the absurdity of this.
If you put Donovan Mitchell on this Suns team,
oh my God,
we are a lot worse.
And he's not averaging 25, 4, and 4 on this team.
Yeah.
Make him be the core playmaker, the only playmaker, of which, by the way, I've seen people say that Booker needs to work on his defense and playmaking still. I'm like,
all right, yeah, what else? What else do you want to do?
Playmaking.
Maybe let's have him work on blocks and steals too, and like.
When people talk about playmaking, that's when we know they don't actually watch Devin Booker.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. If he could actually just start averaging quadruple doubles, like.
He's not dunking from the half-court stripe, so, I mean, is he really trying all that hard?
He's not stretching his arm out like Michael Jordan in Space Jam, so, You
know what, though? He's not, and I like Steph Curry, but, like, he's not, like, an asshole. Like, well, okay. I think taunting is an asshole thing. I'm old school. But, like, Stephen Curry is a big personality.
Mm-hmm.
Devin Booker, doesn't. And I like that about him, but like, again, it becomes, like you said, Dave, it's a popularity contest. It's a attitude and charisma and character contest almost more than it is like a basketball thing in some ways. And that like really bothers me.
Which I don't get because I feel like a lot of people respect and like Devin Booker around the league.
I know. I was actually interested what he would, we're never going to fucking find out, but I'm interested to see where he would go in the stupid playground draft thing that they do.
Oh, I know. And that's one of the things that really pisses me off is that I would love to see how he interacts and like who he interacts with on this type of draft thing that would happen and who wants him more. Would Giannis want him? Would LeBron want him? Because I feel like LeBron would really want him early. Maybe.
I think he gets a ton of respect from other players. Mm-hmm. And Wasn't he? He was fourth in someone's voting. Fans or no, it couldn't have been fans. Maybe it was players.
It was players, and that's what was crazy about it, is that the players have a good influence on this, and he was fourth in the West.
It should just be the players. I mean, like,
I'm
they're
not
the
against
fucking ones there all the time. Like,
Players vote for some pretty dumb shit.
oh, do they?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, well.
It's not
I mean,
great.
I'm fine with it. I'm fine. Honestly, media, I think, is a good one. A combination of media, coaches, and players, which is mainly what it is in this case.
Is it media?
Media has a vote, yeah.
Okay. Media probably. I know we get biases and stuff in there. It's in some ways it's probably more informed because I think they are looking at the advanced metrics and shit like that.
I mean, the people that were pretty anti-Booker came around on him the last few weeks. Like Bill Simmons had him on the All-Star team. We know how much Bill Simmons despises Devin Booker.
Zach Lowe had him on there after not having him for a long time.
Yeah, who's pretty objective about stuff, but had him
I
on
like
there
Zach
and
Lowe.
wasn't even the last guy on.
Yeah. And I know like you don't know the order, but like we know the order. It always like leaks or whatever who
Well,
actually took who. And
I saw a handful of things that listed like Paul George first, and I'm like, Paul George has missed more games than he's played. What the fuck are you talking about, Paul George? Get out of here with Paul George.
So that order too, but I mean like when LeBron chooses like it's
like,
supposed
yeah,
to be
the-
like a secret thing, but then like it leaks like 2 days later every time. So
They should televise that too. I know they want everybody's feelings getting hurt by being picked last, but guess what? It happened in the playground when you were 6, so it's probably going to happen when you're a grown up too.
I feel like I would almost want to watch that more than the All-Star game.
I know.
Yeah, can you imagine like Russell Westbrook being picked last and then going out like a supernova at the All-Star game?
I want them to line up and like
Oh yeah,
And
don't
point.
like playground style, like point at me.
Don't
Yeah.
say their names. Don't call them out. Just point at someone, and they'll go like, "Oh, "Me? Oh."
yeah, and then they have to walk over to the squad, and
Yeah.
then you start getting like just the 3
The high
players
fives.
left.
Yeah, they're all standing there awkwardly shuffling their way
2
back
players.
and
Then the second to last player gets chosen. The last one just like
forth. Hmm.
dips his head.
And it's Rudy Gobert because nobody wants him in the All-Star game,
Yeah.
even though he
And,
deserves.
and Draymond Green makes fun of him for crying.
Hmm.
God, what a fucking
I know.
asshole.
This is just awful. I mean, and the sad part, here's the sad part for me, and because I actually like some of the changes they made with the All-Star game. I like what they did. Sean, have you heard about this?
A
What they
little bit,
changed?
yeah, yeah.
So-
The first 3 quarters are weird to me. I know the fourth quarter it's like first to 24.
No, it's basically what they're doing is they're going to have each quarter is going to be its own game per se. So whoever wins the quarter, their charity that they pick wins money,
Yeah.
which is great. Make them play for charity because what? You're going to give them a $50,000 bonus. Most of them don't really give a shit.
I like that way more.
Which I like it way more. So then they take the cumulative score of the first 3 quarters, and then whoever has the most points, they add 24 to that. So let's
Oh,
say
okay.
the West is beating the East 100-95. Then what they do is in the fourth quarter, it's an untimed quarter, no clock. Whoever gets to 124 first wins.
Whoa, that's gonna take
Yeah.
forever.
No,
No,
in an
no.
All-Star game,
In All-Star game, 24 points.
when they were
Well-
not playing any defense, they were putting up
Yeah.
50 in quarters. So it'll be like 6 minutes if they're not trying.
Oh,
we'll see.
oh, okay. I see. I
No.
see. It's
Yeah,
not
so-
the first from 0 to
No,
124.
no.
It's like, so you have like a game and then you
Yeah.
have another game on top of that. I see.
We play with an
Okay.
untimed clock. You'll play till you die.
No, okay. So one team only has to score 24, but then the other
And
team
the other
has to
team
score
29 or
a,
whatever.
a
In
bunch
this
more.
scenario,
But
29, yeah. So it's
Okay.
it's a suggestion of what they've said to try to get rid of the late game fouling and timeout situation that always happens in the NBA, which people don't like. So it's interesting. I like that they're doing it here, and they're using the 24 as a tribute to Kobe, which I think is good. Like they
yeah,
should do that.
that's
And-
really nice. Yeah.
And it guarantees a game winner.
So
Yeah.
all of this together, I mean, I like what they're doing at the All-Star game. I really like the fact that, hey, that's interesting enough to get me to watch, because in the past few years, I have had zero care of the All-Star game because it's like no Suns players are in it, no defense is played. The only intriguing thing was like, can someone score 200 in this game? Because it's kind of interesting to see a 200 to 195 final, but it didn't happen.
I don't know why there's no defense. Like defense is cool. Like not
It's
like
try.
I don't want the 90s, but like
You have to try.
yeah, it's fun sometimes to see like really good defense.
Yeah, and it's fun sometimes to see dunks, but a dunk down the court every time, an alley-oop every time down the court is like, all right, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, you can dunk. Great.
There's not enough players who are assholes anymore because, like a Kevin Garnett, a Kobe Bryant, weren't going to stand for that nonsense, even in the like halfway point of the first quarter of an exhibition game.
Mm-hmm.
But now, other than maybe the 2 people that we hate the most, Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook, who else is going to bring that intensity?
Yeah. So
Jimmy
I think
Butler, I guess, and that's it.
they're going to bring it a little bit more because you kind of win something each quarter. I mean, it's not going to be a cure-all, but still. Should be better.
It's charity. I mean, at the very least, they're either going to play hard or they're going to completely ruin their reputation.
Yeah.
So
I mean, at this point, they've already destroyed East-West, so I don't mind trying something else that's different and just seeing what happens. It will create end-of-quarter situations that will matter if the game is close. I don't know if they'll call timeouts in those situations to help win a quarter that way. I mean, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But it's interesting enough to be different. I'm not watching the All-Star game, though, so I don't fucking care what the format is.
I mean, at this point, should we just abolish the whole East-West separation when it comes to All-Star game? We're abolishing it when it comes to the game itself. Why even have that separation anymore?
Yeah, I
just
mean,
pick
you get
the best
players that way.
I can think of 15 East owners who are going to vote against that, so good luck getting that through in a new CBA.
Yeah, I understand it, but man, we're mad.
Chris, if Devin Booker was in it, would you watch it?
Yes.
Damn.
Maybe not live.
There you have it.
Maybe live. Depends on when it is and all
you
that.
You might not even watch it live. You might just fast forward to Booker's the time.
I might.
And then when he sits, you're like, I'm done.
I might.
Yeah.
I have that power. I can just skip forward and see when he checks in and watch, and then when he checks out, turn it off, come back.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's not going to matter. So I thought this would be cathartic, but instead I'm just more mad than when I started.
I think talking through it, we realized the lack of logic that goes into
I'm
it.
even more convinced of the stance that they pulled the wool over our eyes, which doesn't make sense, but it kind of does.
So
because
I guess
in what world is this okay?
I guess the last question is, well, how does Booker respond to this? Every time I've seen him face adversity, he's improved himself. So does he come out with a fuck you mentality of I'm going to be even better and force you to put me on the All-Star team next year? Or is this his breaking point?
Who do we play next?
The Thunder.
You betcha. Who plays on the Thunder?
Certain Chris Paul.
I hope he destroys Chris Paul like we destroyed Luka Doncic.
Yeah, I really hope that Devin Booker dunks on Chris Paul so hard that he gets hurt and then can't play.
I would also love to see him do what he did to Justin Jackson in the Dallas game.
Just the jab step.
Yeah, jab step, jab, pull up, then jab, drive, step back.
He jab stepped that guy so bad, Luka twisted his ankle the next game. Holy shit.
Yeah, he had whiplash, and he couldn't see where he was going, and he tripped, and he broke his ankle.
Damn. I feel bad. I don't want Luka to be hurt, but goddamn.
I don't want anybody to be hurt either, but this is just such a joke. And it was going to be just a nice, national casual fan was going to get to see Devin Booker on a big stage.
Yeah.
It would have been great.
But instead, what a nice moment it's going to be when they wheel Chris Paul down in his fucking wheelchair.
Yeah, Paul first style. And the thing is, I don't even know if Devin Booker's going to be in the three-point contest this year because he's not one of the best three-point shooters in the league this year.
No,
so he probably won't be.
No,
yeah,
probably shouldn't be, to be honest.
No, really, and he shouldn't, which is fine. I don't care if he's in the three-point shooter. It was nice to see him win a couple of years.
It'd be cool if he was in the skills challenge. I don't give a shit anymore, but
yeah,
he won't be.
Although I think Dwight Howard is going to be in the dunk contest, which is.
We should probably just cut that. Now, I know.
Yeah, you know what he had done? He had reached out to Kobe to help him in it.
Oh man!
Jeez.
Superman is in the building.
That hurts.
Yeah. Well, now everybody else can feel the same downer that we feel deep inside of our hearts.
Well, there's always next year.
That's fine. It'll just be a healthy Steph, a healthy Clay, a healthy Paul George, maybe. Because that's the thing that hurts the most about all this is the door was at least open. This is what it took to even get him on the cusp, and it wasn't good enough. So unless he puts up, I guess, 30 and fucking 9 a game or something, that's not going to do it. Or the Suns are above 500.
I mean, if he puts up 30 and 9 and we have the same records right now, how could you leave him off?
I don't know. How did they leave him off this year, Dave?
I know.
I don't know. I don't know what we're supposed to do.
Mm-mm.
So that's the end of this podcast. Fuck you, NBA.
I'm angry. I'm still pissed. I'm going to be pissed for a while.
And in the grand scheme of things, does this matter? No, it doesn't mean it doesn't mean a goddamn thing. But it also means a lot at the same time because it's one of the few things we can cling to is at least some individual recognition of somebody who's busted his ass. And instead, you get nothing.
And it was cool when Devin Booker won the three-point contest. It's those little things when you have a not-so-great season.
Yeah.
But, yep.
No hope. No excitement. No nothing. We'll enjoy missing the playoffs by 4 games and get the 12th pick and kill ourselves.
Exactly.
We can cry. We can keep crying like we have been for 10 fucking years.
Idea, actually.
Yeah.
I haven't actually tried crying yet. Maybe that would be a good idea.
Maybe they'll start winning once you cry.
I haven't been devoted enough. If I don't want to shed tears or blood, then what am I doing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the end of this episode. There will be no show next Tuesday, or Thursday, I guess. We recorded on Tuesday. There's no show next week because we did one today, and we'll be just too busy being mad and angry. So we'll be back on the following Thursday with a regularly scheduled show. Who knows what it'll be about? Maybe we'll still be pissed about Devin Booker, and we'll do another Sunscast. I have no idea.
Sean had a Rage internet culture thing planned, so maybe it'll be that.
Well, actually, you guys should come. Anything internet culture you guys want to bring up. I have a specific thing in mind that will probably launch into some other stuff, but
All right.
I could talk about bad Kobe takes.
that's fine. I mean, that works.
There's a lot in both directions. We'll see if I'm still mad about that in 13 days.
Probably.
Might be.
Let the Booker rage fuel you.
Yep.
I'll try my best.
Yeah.
That's the end of this episode. In between shows, you can find us at ObjectionNetwork.com, at Team Objection on Facebook and Twitter. YouTube.com/Objection Network is the home for new videos 7 days a week. And you can send emails to the show telling us about how good Devin Booker is to objectionnetwork@gmail.com. See you next time, you fucker.